So now that we've talked about kind of the parts that go into a little bit of the cameras, I want to talk to you about how we're going to be moving cameras, especially production cameras, around in our studio. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about camera movement, and I have a little like XLR camera with me that I'm going to use. And so the first type of movement is what's known as a pan movement. And this is where your camera stays still in the middle and you just kind of spin it to the left or to the right. So if the director tells you I want your camera to pan left, then you're going to have your image look to the left. Likewise, if the director tells you they want your image to pan right, then your image is going to wind up looking over to the right. And again, it's going to kind of pivot on this one little center point, which is going to be your y-axis. The next type of movement we have is what's known as a tilt. And this is where your camera is now going to spin on the x-axis, and it's going to either look up or it's going to look down. So if the director says I need you to tilt your camera up, then you'll tilt the lens up. Likewise, if the director says tilt your camera down, then you're going to move your camera to the towards the floor. So when I talked about pan, the pan is going to pivot on this one point. The next thing we have is what's called truck. And a truck is where you're going to physically move it to one side or the other. So if the director says, I need you to truck something to the left, you'll physically move the camera to the left. Likewise, if he says, I want you to truck something to the right, you'll just move the camera over to the right. So then next we have dolly. And with dolly, your camera is going to physically move forward. So you may have to dolly in, or you may wind up pulling back to dolly back. So with this, you're going to basically move the pedestal closer or farther to your desired content. So by doing that, you're going to dolly forward or dolly back. And then I've talked about using the pedestal as a noun, and the pedestal is the device that the camera is sitting on. Now, in addition to being a noun, we can be a verb. So if the director tells you that they need you to pedestal the camera up, you may have to raise it up. Or if they tell you to pedestal the camera down, you may have to lower it. One of the things that we tend to do is we kind of want the lens of the camera to be even with your eyes. So in this case, my camera is too far down, so I'll have to pedestal the camera up to get it more in sync with my eye level. And that's just a quick look of how we're going to move cameras around.